came all the way here to speak with you and in memory of our departed Professor George Ayittey. And the main thing we want you to take away is that if you reflect on what George lived for, I hope it inspires you. And if you read some of the things he wrote and you understand some of the things he wanted to convey, I hope it makes you want to make some changes to your own plans for your own life. And when I say that, what I mean is that, of course, you have plans for your life. You know what you want to be, what you want to do, and all those things. But if you listen to George, at the end of the day, he will make you know that whatever you do, you will be affected by other people, especially leaders. And in Africa, we have not tended to create situations which give us leaders that we can close our eyes, go to bed, and assume will do the right things for us. Indeed, it is not an African problem. It is a global problem. Wherever people are not sufficiently engaged in making sure they chart the course of their own lives as a society, some people will do it for you. Some people will do it for you. So there is never a shortage of people who would want to take advantage of a society and use it for themselves. So George makes us appreciate that in Africa we have had too many despots, too many dictators, and somehow we've allowed them to run too far. And it is necessary that we take some time off to care about the quality of leadership and what happens. In the process of that, you would have to confront them. And not to confront them as in fighting with them, but you have to develop your intellect sufficiently, develop the information you need sufficiently, prepare yourself sufficiently, and take a stand, a principled stand in your own society and in its management. Because whatever you do, it will have an effect on you. Now, that is why you need to put a bit of tweaking into your own plans and your own life, so that at least after taking care of yourself and doing whatever you need to do, you do some national service. Now, there is a spectrum. You can choose, for instance, to go into leadership. And that is a very good thing. That's a noble thing. The only thing I have for you is that if you choose to be in leadership, do not become what you have ever criticized. If you choose to lead, please do it. We need good people to get into leadership and to lead us in the right directions. But as you grew up, you saw things. You could see some of the things that were wrong. You could see some things people did that shouldn't have been done, mistakes that were made, etc. If you choose to get into leadership, do not become what you have criticized before. And that kind of principled, approach to leadership will help you chart the right courses and avoid certain things. If you choose to enter leadership, it is not or should not be for your own self. Nobody begs anybody to go into leadership. We want good people in leadership. But anybody you see in leadership today asked for it. So if you ask to lead people, do not do it for yourself. If you do that, you are of all men the most despicable. Especially if you do it in this kind of situation where we are in a poor continent and in a poor country. I don't say that happily. We should not be a poor continent and we should not be a poor country. What has happened to us is impoverishment. We are not poor, we have been impoverished. And that is exactly because we've consistently for decades had leaders who spent the nation on themselves instead of spending themselves on their nations. So don't become that. And that's why I say of all people, you be the most despicable. If you look at poor people and go and take what belongs to them and spend it only on yourself. So I encourage you to do or to go into leadership, but keep these few things in mind. Now, if you will not go into frontline political leadership, as in stand for a political office or something, okay, like I have chosen not to do, make your knowledge and whatever experience you have contribute positively to your country and to your society. So I am not a politician, but what I do has political effect. Okay, I had to rush here from somewhere. There's great cost to it. All right? But I think this is important. Why? Why? Because it is useful that we have these discussions so that at least you would get something that encourages you to do something to improve society. Now, I don't have to be a politician to do that. There are 275 parliamentarians in Ghana. You don't know 100%, maybe 98% of them. You just know a few. And of the 275, it is possible that there are people in this school whose words and actions have more effect than all of them. Okay? So you don't have to be in frontline politics to be effective and even for what you do to have political effect. So if you don't do that, at least find a way to do that kind of national service. Make what education you have, what experience you have, whatever you have that you can use. And that involves being active. It involves connecting to what is going on around you. So I encourage you to do that. If you will not do that also, what you can do is support people who do that. Too many times we've had situations in this country where people want things done, but they want somebody else to do it. Okay? I have led demonstrations in this country, and every day, people keep telling me, why are you not leading demonstrations today? If you want to demonstrate, if you want to do something, if you want to speak to power, go and do it. Why must it be me? I did my bit. If I wish to do it, I will do it again. But it is a very, very, very Ghanaian trait that everybody sees what is wrong, but they expect somebody to go fix it. Then there's another aspect of which is pretty bad. Do not judge a person by the outcomes of their attempts. Judge them by what they hoped to achieve by that. And I say this because when people attempt to try a solution, try something to make a change, and it goes wrong, you will see the same people who were hoping he will do something gang up and rip that person up. You need to find it in yourself. If you won't go into leadership, if you will not do things that are effective in organizing your country or making it what it is, and other people choose to do it, don't judge them harshly, even if they fail. Don't judge people by the outcomes of their efforts. Judge them by what they hoped to achieve. Because if everybody were like you and left everything, we will have despots running us for the rest of our lives. So I have a wide latitude for people who even fail. But that is why the cost of their failure would affect you. That is why in their attempt, you must engage with them. And I do that daily. If somebody says, I'm going to help, says, fine, but what are you going to do? If it's your private issue, I don't have a problem. If it's a public issue, answer to me. And I'm saying, well, I may not want to be in parliament, but I think this way is not the best way. Could you try it this other way? And I want a debate. I want you to convince me that your way is the better way. And I'll say, no, I think it is this other way. We'll have a debate. It is about talking. That is what good governance in a modern society is about. And then let the better idea win. But I would always respect the person who puts himself there to try and actually make the change. And I would think twice before condemning them totally. And sometimes they don't utterly fail, but they don't succeed entirely. And so you can criticize them. Oh, you should have done this way, you should have done this that way. Okay. It's easy after the fact. Okay. So find it in yourself to have a certain amount of empathy for those who try. That does not mean that you have what I call obsequious respect for them simply because they are in government or they are leaders. Some of your friends will become politicians. And the irony is that it is not the smartest people who always become politicians. Now, I don't say this to insult them, but I say it to let you know that when the time comes and you find your colleagues and your mates going there, it is not because they are smarter than you. It's because they chose to do it. So give them the benefit of your viewpoint. That engagement is necessary. Now, if they pass or they succeed, hail them and encourage them. If they fail, speak to them. Tell them, I told you this the last time, and you did it, and we have this outcome. Next time, please do it differently. Consider going to do it yourself. But if not, continue to engage with them. A good society is one where all citizens are engaged one way or the other. If we don't engage sufficiently, we will condemn ourselves to be ruled by despots, and that is what George Ayittey fought. He says, you are the cheetah generation. Run fast, leapfrog, do great things. Do not be bound by the past. Prepare yourselves. Make sure that you are paying the price. It is not easy, but it's worth it. You can walk this earth, die, go, and be forgotten. Well, that's up to you. But if you have the chance within the same time to do something for somebody to remember that this guy was around here and he made a difference, I think it's a better way to go. So I hope you take the charge George Ayittey gives us and be cheaters for the future. Thank you.